Good evening. You may be seated. Welcome to our community's Day of Mourning ceremony. I'm Candace Young, the president of the Sarnia District Labor Council. Today, we gather to mourn and honor workers who lost their lives or were injured because of their work. And as we mourn, we recommit ourselves to fight for the living. Every worker deserves to come home safe at the end of the day, both in body and in mind. But too often, psychological harm at work is ignored, minimized, or dismissed as just part of the job. Harm isn't only physical. Psychological injuries cause harm too. Workers are facing burnout, chronic stress, harassment, violence, and other psychological harms caused by unsafe work. These harms are real and they are preventable. 70% of workers are concerned about the psychological health and safety of their workplace. In 2023 alone, more than 8,500 workplace mental health injury claims were accepted by compensation boards. And we know those numbers are likely much higher because psychological injuries are largely widely unreported. According to the claims accepted by workplace compensation boards, healthcare, education, public services, and the trades are among the hardest hit sectors due to factors including understaffing, lack of resources, unreasonable workloads, to name a few. For example, correction workers in our community and across Ontario are experiencing a mental health crisis and continue to advocate for immediate access to more robust mental health supports. Just as we don't accept unsafe scaffolding, we don't accept asbestos exposure, we should never accept unsafe working conditions that harm workers' mental and psychological health. Every workplace needs a prevention program for psychological injuries, just like there are programs to prevent physical injuries. Workers need enforceable protections, real prevention, and strong inspections, because no worker should have to sacrifice their health or their life to earn a living. April 28th is a day of remembrance, but it is also a call to action. We owe it to the workers we have lost, we owe it to their families, and we owe it to every worker still on the job today. Safe work must mean safe for both body and mind. Strong unions save lives, and together we will continue to fight for workplaces that are truly safe, healthy, and respectful for all. Now I'd like to invite up Nicole Schultz from the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario to read a poem.
Thank you, Candace. I'm going to read the poem called A Lifetime of Regret by Anna Lennox. I love you. Were his last words as he drove out the winding drive. I watched and waved my little hand. Never again would I see him alive. For on that sunny August day, the world had seemed so bright, but sadly, in our home that day, darkness overshadowed the light. My brother was on his way home from the field when the tractor rolled in the ditch. It happened so fast, he couldn't stop. The rake came apart at the hitch. I was playing outside when the truck drove in, and the farmer walked to the door. The look of shock on my mother's face was something I had never seen before. Fire trucks, ambulance, and police arrived. Their sirens rang in my ears. My sister took my hand in hers and tried to calm my fears. The next few hours were a blur. At 4, I did not understand. My brother had died, but what did that mean? Confusion overtook our rural land. In the years that have passed since my brother Ian died, I've learned what safety rules are for, to protect us as we work side by side. A manual is given, the contracts are signed. Too often, health precautions are left behind. Taking time to think ahead often appears unneeded, but we must always protect young workers and not let safety go unheeded. Whether a farm, factory, or construction site, occupational health and safety must always be right. Workplace accidents are preventable, but second chances are rare. We can't change mistakes from our past. Instead, we must learn and be aware. We cannot lose our sons and daughters before we understand that health and safety must be taught so that precautions may be planned. Workplace injuries and deaths are remembered with respect, not only for one day in a year, but through a lifetime of regret. By Anna Lennox. And now I'd like to call on Fire Chief Jeff Weber, please.
Thanks. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fire Hall 1. We have been kind of the alternate location for this Day of Mourning ceremony while the memorial location in Centennial Park undergoes renovations. And hopefully with any luck, we'll be there next year instead of here. But we're always available as an alternate rain location. So I hope and we also want to keep our relationship growing and glowing with the Sarnia Area Labor Council. It's my pleasure to honor and my honor to welcome all of you here to remember friends and family impacted by work. To start, a few reminders. We are a working fire hall, as you know, so I will remind you that if you do hear an alarm, and it will be loud, just to stay where you are, step away from the vehicles, allow our response crews to go. They're gonna have sirens and all that stuff. We'll just take a pause in the ceremony, wait till they go, and we'll resume with the ceremony. We do have a public washroom just around the corner here, so that is available if you need. Yes, if there's an emergency in the building as well, if we have our own emergency, I'll just ask you to leave by the front doors. Please stay on the property, but stay out of the way for our staff to do what they need to do. It is fitting that we have been a part of the Day of Mourning here as identified by our own memorial space out front, dedicated in our own front yard. This is not specific to Sarnia, unfortunately. There are memorials at numerous municipalities and federal memorials recognizing the ultimate sacrifice of firefighters. I know some myself. Fellows I worked with in Kitchener years and years ago that have passed and due to things that happened on the job. However, our theme this year is mental health. A topic that is paramount in our service as well, and certainly in all emergency responders today, as well as brought up before, our brothers and sisters in the corrections system. I started over 30 years ago in the early 1990s. In the early 1990s, the reaction to traumatic events was just in its infancy. There was certainly a need. It was identified. We could see that there were problems. Early systems included things like critical incident stress management teams. They were ad hoc, and the training was limited at best. Over 30 years it's taken us to evolve as a community, to evolve as an industry, and we're still in our infancy. Today's a bit different. Our department, I'm proud to say, and the fire service industry itself establishes plans to prevent PTSI and build resilience in our staff. Our peer support team here in our department alone has 20 plus members of our organization prepared to organize and intervene when we have incidents occurring, to provide debriefings and opportunities to reach out for our staff. Programs are built with professional input and guidance now. The Ontario government has recognized PTSI as a compensatable injury. And the newest and greatest that we've seen to date is Runnymede Hospital in Toronto. Now runs a post-traumatic injury stress center for excellence for first responders. We're also Canada's first dedicated post-traumatic stress injury treatment center for first responders, being built by Runnymede Centre in Caledon. It's going to be an incredible place where first responders can go to heal and spend some time in a setting they're familiar with, a fire hall. We're still in the infancy of these programs and their ultimate impact on the workforce. But perhaps someday, where staff resources that are exposed to traumatic experiences receive focused, appropriate care resources immediately to combat the effects of acute and accumulative stress. It will take time. I'll welcome forward Jacqueline Leroux.
It is an honor to be here today. It's been several years since I attended a Sarnia Day of Mourning ceremony. About 20 years ago, I worked with the Labour Council and I was given a research project. And each week I went to the Sarnia Library and I sifted through old newspaper microfiche, pulling articles of workplace fatalities, injuries, and occupational disease. And one by one I printed them off. At that time, I was a little naive. I hadn't yet realized just how often workers were hurt or made ill on the job. That project opened my eyes and ultimately led me to the Workers' Health and Safety Centre. Today, we remember workers killed, injured, or made ill because of their work. In Ontario, workplace harm is often reflected in stats capturing fatalities, critical injuries, and occupational disease linked to well-known hazards like asbestos. But those numbers don't tell the full story. Occupational disease affects far more workers than what is officially recognized or compensated. We know that from research, and we know that from lived experience. We also know that workplace harm isn't only physical. Hazards like bullying, harassment, violence, extreme work demands, isolation can all contribute to mental illness. With worker advocacy, we have seen some progress at the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board. Workers experiencing traumatic and chronic stress in extreme situations can now apply for compensation. Over the past decade, accepted claims have more than doubled, and yet that number only reflects a fraction of what workers are experiencing. Enough already. Workers deserve far more than compensation, and we deserve far more than a Let's Talk Day once a year. We need to reframe this issue from a personal issue to a systemic issue. We need to move beyond telling workers to cope and be resilient. Like any other workplace hazard, psychosocial hazards must be identified, assessed, and controlled. And effective solutions must be developed in consultation with the Joint Health and Safety Committees and the worker reps. Those early days at the Labour Council have stayed with me. What I learned there continues to guide me in the work I do today at the Centre. This June marks our 40th anniversary as Ontario's only Labour-endorsed government-designated training centre. Since our founding, we have worked with you developing training that helps prevent workplace illness and injury, including mental harm health, by addressing the hazards at the source. Like you, we are determined that Ontario workers not only survive, but thrive at work. With your support, we look forward to continuing our work to empowering workers across Ontario. Thank you. I would like to introduce Darren Henry.
bonjour. I'm launching a unique edition cast student. My name is Darren Henry. I'm a counselor at Amtanang. I'm a great-grandfather and a community member of Amtanang. I recently retired after 46 years, started out working at Polysar and ended up working at Toda. Retired from Unifor 914. During that time, we grew up, my early times working when carcinogens were first introduced, when we first found out what carcinogens were. I worked with chemicals, acrylonitrile, butadiene. I worked with benzene, styrene, a number of chemicals. And at the time, we would basically wade in those chemicals until it was determined what carcinogens were. And then we had pretty extreme protections and guidelines that we had to follow. The concern I had as a working operator was for the crew that worked with me, for the tradespeople that came in, because I realized that we all had one thing in common. We had families at home, outside, that we wanted to return to. We had families at home that we wanted to help prosper. We had communities we were involved in. We wanted to be involved in our contributions in our community's prosperity. I mention this as I come from Amtanang, and very recently, I guess over the last 10 or 20 years, we've heard about the difficulties we've had, the exposures we've had, especially to benzene. And I mentioned this as I start because of my great-grandson there. Just a few weeks ago on I believe it was April 13th, there was a pipeline rupture, not very far, not even a kilometer from my house. And I picked up my great-grandson to come and visit. As we were driving by, my breath was taken away by what was in the air. 2 breaths. My little grandson, who was 4 weeks old, also experienced that as part of his first exposures to his life. Over the time we speak, we've asked governments to be part of the solution. We ask for levels of contamination to be lowered. We demonstrate that in other jurisdictions it happens, and it happens effectively. The reason also that I mentioned Polysar is one of the first places in Sarnia that grew out of industrial development. It was thought of so much during World War II defense, when we lost the rubber, that was given exemptions. It was given exceptions as a Crown corporation. And those still exist to this day. As Amtanang asks for enforcement, as Amtanang asks for assistance, the rhetoric that we're receiving at times is almost too much to bear. Even as it's mentioned with our neighbors, that mentioning us in acknowledgments is deemed to affect property, businesses. We have the same concerns with how a carcinogen like benzene, which exists in our community at levels higher than yearly allowable limits. And we're going to acknowledge us all here in a bit. We're going to ask for an honor song to be sang, to honor us all, to honor the ones who have gone on before us, to honor those ones that have lost their lives. We have some of our group here that have relatives, fathers, uncles, grandfathers that also worked in this facility and have lost their lives. We come in this way, we honor our responsibilities, we honor our teachings that we have. Our teachings are around love, respect, truth, honesty, bravery, humility, and wisdom. That's part of our governance that we have in Omjanang. I bring my eagle feather with me that was given to me by our people to respect those values, for us, to look at things internally, and to extend those values out externally to the people around us, the people that come to us, as we have from time immemorial. We came here from the east, from the Atlantic Ocean, directed by our prophecies to this spot as a third stopping spot for migration of our people. Our instructions were to lead, our instructions were to direct, and we still carry this on today. It's even present in the archaeology that was discovered under the Blue Water Bridge, that we had commerce, that we had leadership, that we have those things that were told to us to share. As we know, we can look this way and we see the beauty and the bountifulness of this land that we have. I don't know how many fish, how many hunt, how many farm, how many enjoy the clean waters of this land. Part of our duties is to that, to the air, the land, and the water. We're carried by the fire, and as we've marched in here today, we stop and pause to honor Canada. Canada. In our language, Canada, or Ke, is the land. Gena, or Kena, is the land that we can see, the land that's around us. Da, Orda, is our heart. So this land we see around us, that we love with our heart, that we love with those 7 values, is what we were told to share, what we were told to protect, what we were told to help grow. Just as that little grandson of mine who comes tells me that, as a great grandfather, I have that responsibility to him, 4 generations down from me. However, in Omjanang, last week we had a big celebration, celebrating the 2nd generation of a air monitor that we look to protect us. I guess I want to acknowledge, and I was taken aback by news today, but I'm not going to apologize, because our community is affected. Our homes are affected. Our businesses are affected by the inaction of Canada and Ontario to enforce and protect us with their laws. We're not looking to shut any plants down. We work there. We come to Sarnia to spend our money, to buy our cars, to furnish our homes, to have our kids play in the parks, on your teams. We are here as treaty people, existing and expecting coexistence with the people that came here and made those treaties with us. I just want to, wanted to speak about that, as today I went through a whole lot of emotions, because with my little grandson, we experienced the eagle that landed right at my house. And I was able to talk to that little guy, Misko Bichikan, the big Jesus, that red crescent moon that we seen when he came to us. And his clan talks about protecting the land, the water, the women, the children, and the people of our community. And as a great-grandfather, I have that duty to see that he sees that, to see that he manages that, to see that he becomes that. And that's involved in the governance of our people. We each have those duties. And you know, that's just basic what we look to our neighbors to reciprocate back to us. You know, I was looking at things today and I was thinking that rhetoric is pretty dangerous. And I think that's as much of that word I'm going to walk to. Because that word isn't used in my house, it's not allowed to be used in my house. But we want to give back to you. We want to acknowledge love. We want to respect you. We want you to know the truth. You know, we're doing it with bravery, and bravery is a big thing. It's a reciprocal thing, and it has to do with integrity as well. Because to stand up for these people that come and present what they know, what they learn, what they've done, each one of them in our community are all knowledge keepers. They, as young as they are, they've come up, they've learned, and they're knowledge keepers. They're going to pass that along. So I'm really proud that at my time that we've got this coming behind us. They're articulate, they're educated, they want to be part of this community, they are part of this community, and they're going to contribute. They're going to contribute however they can. They're proud, and you know, I guess the way I would look at them, they're beautiful as well. So we would like to give to you right now, and we'll ask you to stand for this first song. It's an honor song to honor all of you who've come, and I say much thank you for all of you who have come to share and be part of this. And we want to acknowledge the Day of Mourning. We want to acknowledge those ones that have gone on, and also to think of those ones who may be struggling now, and those ones that will be affected in the future by where we sit. And this drum here was given to us many years ago, the concept of the drum as an instrument of peace. Peace amongst our people, to end conflicts amongst ourselves, to understand, to share those 7 values that we have. The songs and the dance that you're going to see comes from Wishkuknamakwa, our mother, Wishkuknamakwa. She rises up and she gives us that medicine, Wishkiki, the water, the earth, the air, so that we can stand Mishkuziwan, our power from Wishkuknamakwa stands us up. And these are what the songs represent. And the women here are going to do a dance after that, a healing dance. The dance that they do, the regalia that they wear, is representative of healing illness. The first dance came from a daughter and a grandmother. The daughter wanting to do something to help heal her grandmother. This dance is visioned. This dance is raised up from Wishkuknamakwa again. It's a medicine dance, Wishkiki. And standing and honoring you and your healing and the healing of our people, our Mishkuziwan, our power. So I would like to ask our people here to first with the honor song, and then we'll ask the jingle dress dancers to come out and do that healing dance for you guys.
Yeah.
The next song we're going to do is we're going to call it the Jingle Dress Dancers. And this is a healing dance, so at this portion I'll ask that no recording take place. This is ceremony for you. This is ceremony for our healing. This is ceremony for the people that we are. You know, we would just love to have you experience it. Listen to the jingles as they are there, and just imagine your own healing, your own place in this land that we have here. Miigwech. Next one up is Eric McConnell.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So as mentioned, my name is Eric Riccati. I'm also treasurer of the Sarnia District Labor Council. I've been a member of the United Auto Workers, the UAW, for close to 35 years. With the last 6 years being an international representative serving UAW members in Ontario. So I'm honored today to speak briefly as we mourn and honor those workers who lost their lives, were injured, or were dealing with psychological issues at the workplace. And throughout my career as a union chairperson and now an international representative, I've been involved in many issues where a team member has come to me as they're feeling extremely stressed within their workplace, be it equipment or process issues or safety issues or an unstable work and life environment. And it's not just at work where people have feeling stressed. But as a union rep, it's imperative, though, that you pay close attention to the inner workings of your workplace. But I'm proud of the fact that as a member of the UAW Local 251, our office is based out of Wallaceburg, but we service all of Ontario. We have a very good system in place to help with member conflict. But how does this really work? And how does a member seek help? That's the most important question, and that's very difficult to answer. But what we have to do for instance, as a union representative is be very cognizant of the fact that you have to be aware of what your members are facing. Talk to your members, see what they're dealing with. Could be something at work, could be something at home, could be something totally different. But it's important that you get out there and talk to people. Sometimes all it takes is an ear for somebody to talk to. You know, they need an ear so that they can release some tension. Because a lot of times it's physical signs, you can't see it. And this mental illness that we're facing this day, and I've seen it over a number of years, it's invisible. You just don't know what people are dealing with. And then they bring it home, and it's very disruptive, and nobody talks to them or allows them to find an avenue how they can get some help. And as a union representative and you unions out there, I'm sure you all have a very good system in place as well, that there's avenues for people to turn to, but that's so important to be face-to-face with your people, face-to-face to see and have a conversation with them and continue that conversation. That's why we're representatives to begin with, is because we want to talk to people. See, a lot of times people just don't want to share their feelings because they're afraid. And a lot of times I know I've had many experiences where I had a feeling that there are some issues going on with certain people, so I would continue my conversations with them, because over time things did come out. And it's very difficult for people to talk sometimes about what's hurting them. It's one of the most painful issues out there right now. But if you're involved if you're involved with negotiations, and if you haven't already done so, now is the time to review all the existing policies, to implement real preventive measures, strong inspections, and you must be able to enforce these protections at all costs. So when you're at the table, don't shy away from bringing up these issues, because it's very important. And we're dealing with it on a daily basis. I'd like to touch on what Sister Jacqueline mentioned earlier regarding the WSIB and the great gains that has been happening, although we're not near there yet. Mental health is obviously it's a compensable issue, a claim, but it's very difficult to deal with. The board makes it very difficult to have these a compensable claim. But don't give up. Don't let your members give up on this. Keep fighting those claims to the last available avenue, because we need to have our voices raised. But it's a very difficult issue. So every worker deserves a safe work environment, though, no matter what sector you're in, whether you're factory, healthcare, you're an office person. It's very important that they have a safe avenue to report these issues and have an outlet for them. That's what we're here for, is to have an outlet for them. But what you can do is make yourself aware of all these potential issues, advocate for tougher legislation, and most importantly, please speak to your workers, make them aware that there's an avenue for them so everybody's working in a safe environment. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Sandra Kennard, Lexington Chemical Valley, is the next speaker.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out tonight. It actually is a nice night, isn't it? You don't get many of these. It's usually the rain that's coming. So I don't have a lot to say today. I'm just happy that you're here. I'm sorry that you're here because you're here because you've lost someone or you've lost a number of people. Sarnia is a community with not many grandfathers. That's sad, isn't it? Or maybe even grandmothers too. Because as I'm here today, last year I talked to you about Mary DeTore, one of our members. Mary couldn't be here last year and she sat home crying because she couldn't be here. She was 92 and not feeling well. And this February, Mary passed away. And then 2 weeks ago, another member, Martha Fraccalanza, passed away. We don't have many members left. They themselves are passing away. And these are the women whose husbands were sick and they took on the fight. They took on the fight for you and for yourself, for themselves and their own families. They took to the streets, they took to the government, and they did a sit-in for you. Can you imagine these more mature women, I would say now, sitting somewhere not wanting to move because they wanted something to happen and somebody to listen to them. And they did that for all of you and for themselves. Mary and Martha's husbands were home foundry workers. So but Mary, she became a victim herself because she did the laundry. She ended up with asbestosis. So I'd like to remember them today here. And I want you all to remember when you go to work, please work safe. Teach your children to work safe. It's so, so important. And as Darren talked about what is happening in their community, it's happening in this community as well. We don't get quite the effects that they do because they are surrounded by it all. But the people who live in the south end of our city are heavily affected. But you know something? Those CEOs who live out on Lakeshore Road, they're affected too. They just don't think it's touching them or their children. But it is. That particulate comes down on them as well. They just don't see it and they don't feel it yet. And when they start to feel it, they get the heck out of here, unfortunately, instead of just driving some changes around here. So I won't continue on. I will let you go. I have to always tell you, the memorial in Centennial Park has just been finished up. Thank you to the city for hearing us and making that happen. There's many who have been working on that to help us. It's a laundry list of people. It's so many. I won't put that. It's going to be in the paper, so you'll be able to read that then. So, but the few people that have been helping along the way and the city making it happen, and Barb Millett, who used to be the chair of the Victims of Chemical Valley, has been very into the detail of it all. So I'm hoping that you'll be pleased that next year we'll be down there. And I would really like it if the rain gods would give us one of these days for down there as well. So we'll have some seating down there. I think you'll be pleased. And it'll always be a place for those who've lost someone to go sit down and reflect. There'll be benches down there to sit on. The rock that we used to lay the flowers on will be down there. So there's most of the parts that were already there will be there. We will have a ribbon cutting ceremony at some time to be announced. And please read your paper to see that happen, because I'm sure our reporters here will make that happen. Also, I should tell you some of the things that Darren talked about. The Victims of Chemical Valley have been part and parcel of that as well. We have sat with the government people, Ada Lockridge and I, who is another committee member. We sat with them and talked about the air monitors and talked about what we didn't have here for air monitors. London had more air monitors than we do. So now we've secured those. Ongenok has a number of them on their properties, and they have now moved them because they were strategically placed where they weren't going to pick up too much. That has changed. We were being heard at that moment in time. So I'm pleased that those things are happening, that we can have a better, safe work and community, because each and every one of you works in that plant too. You know, we just need to work safe. So now, I want to, before we get too far, I want to thank our piper, Trevor McKinnon, for his pipes tonight. The flowers are from McKellar Flowers, and of course, always Gord. He always shows up for us. Thank you, Gord. So I'm now going to ask Jonathan Parker. I've lost Jonathan. He left. He was right here. Okay. I think they took the white flower too, so anyway. Okay. Services, and then well, that was Jonathan. It was his stuff. The reader's not here. She's okay. Right. So Michelle. Okay. I can't follow instructions. Michelle should be up here. So Michelle Vale, she will, from the RCAF, will be laying a wreath and laying of the white rose. And also when it is your opportunity to come, you have flowers. I would love it if you could stop at the mic and speak who you're here for. That is so powerful yourself, and it's powerful for everyone else is here. The people you love are important. So Michelle, if you would like to, there you are.
So thank you very much. We're going to start laying the flowers now. If you wish to come here and say whom you are here honoring and representing, please feel free to do so. And we're going to start with Miss Lorena Rising. She's going to lay the white rose, and the rest of us can follow with the red carnations. And we're going to take them out the door to the left, and there's a beautiful cradle to lay them on near the memorial. If you wish to, yes.
I lay this in honor of Louis Adrian Rising, who died in 1981 at the construction of the Butyl 2 site at the Polysar Corporation.
And I'm going to read one short note for our friend Andrea who's here, and she would like us to read a short message in memory of her son, James Miller. He is not dead. I cannot say, and I will not say, that he is dead. He is just away. With a cheery smile and a wave of the hand, he has wandered into an unknown land and left us dreaming how very fair it needs must be since he lingers there. And you, oh you, who the wildest yearn for an old-time step and the glad return, thinking of him faring on, as dear in the love of there as love of here. Think of him still as the same I say. He is not dead, he is just away. Anyone else, please come forward with your flowers.
I lost my husband 22 years, 2 months, and 11 days ago to Misathy Manoga, and I'm here to honor him, Claude Jeanson.
holding on for 22 years. My most favorite uncle, both from mesothelioma. We miss you.
Members and my good friends, Jason Miller and Mark Richard.
Dan Boucher, who's a father, a husband, a brother, and a best friend to a lot of people standing behind me. Dan Boucher was the bomb. He's awesome.
Dan Boucher.
Wayne West passed away from cancer due to asbestos last year.
Daniel Mark Roller died in 2017, accident in his workplace.
My father, Les Henry, died in 1994 from mesothelioma and worked out in Pier Ohio.
For Margaret Blake, Bill Sim, and Dan Pache. I didn't forget thanking somebody. I forgot to thank Amjanong, their drummers, their dancers. They always show up for us. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming.